And this morning, we're talking live with Republican Representative for California's 5th Congressional District, Tom McClintock, live in Washington, D.C. Good morning, Congressman. Thank you so much for your time.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, we'll get right to it. Families are really feeling the pinch at the grocery store this holiday season. What policies do you feel are most responsible for the higher food prices, and what can be done to ease some of that pressure on families?
Well, Ronald Reagan had it right. Government's not the solution to this problem. Government is the problem. The tax and regulatory restrictions that we saw imposed under the Biden administration and the massive amounts of dollars forced into the economy by that administration drove up prices to the highest inflation rate in 40 years. The inflation rate under the Trump administration is now half of what it was under Biden, but those prices are still growing and a great deal more work needs to be done. I believe that the regulatory relief and the tax relief that's already been approved by the Congress is going to have a dramatically positive effect on the economy by next summer. And I think that as restrictions come off of things, such as fuel prices, you'll see them reduced as a result. In fact, we're already seeing that across the rest of the country. Unfortunately, California has its own problems that are made in Sacramento.
You mentioned rolling back. I'm going to touch on that and expand a bit. Earlier in the week, you had a column that was published in the Washington Examiner saying that government-driven policies are a big driver, as you just mentioned, of some of the issues we're seeing, the higher cost of housing as well as healthcare costs. Are there any other specific policies that you believe need to be changed first to make these necessities more affordable, especially for Californians?
Yes. When anything is scarce, it's expensive. When it's plentiful, it's cheap. In the 1960s and 70s, builders were allowed to build to all levels of the market, so there was affordable housing at all levels of the market. That's been dramatically affected by government policy, especially in California. Last year, there were more building permits approved in the Dallas and Houston metropolitan areas than were approved in all of California combined. Well, the median price of a home in California is now $900,000. In Texas, it's $370,000. Any questions?
A lot to say there, and a big gap, definitely. You're framing today's policy debates, we'll move on. Today's policy debates is a clash between freedom and socialism. For a lot of viewers who may not see the issues when it comes to ideological terms, how do you explain the practical, everyday differences that these competing approaches create for families in areas like housing as well as healthcare?
Well, it's not ideological, it's strictly practical. Look, wherever the left has seized control of, whether it's in cities like San Francisco, Los Angeles, Baltimore, Detroit, or states like California, Illinois, and New York, you see all of the same pathologies. You see sky-high taxes, failing schools, rampant homelessness, rising crime. You see chronic shortages of basic necessities like gasoline, electricity, water, housing. That's what socialism does, and it's very consistent in what it produces. It is freedom, free markets, individuals cooperating with each other for their mutual betterment that produces prosperity in any society. Why we can't get that straight after all of these years is beyond me.
Staying on the issue of affordability, a lot of families are concerned regarding health care. We've talked to you about this before, but now again, the temporary spending bill was already passed. Now we're looking forward. Where do we stand on the debate regarding the Affordable Care Act and a possible extension of some of those premium taxes?
Well, we've got to restore the freedom of competition that keeps prices down and quality high. The problem with our government policy on health care is that we've severed the connection between the patient and the payer. If the patient doesn't have a stake in the cost, once you've severed that connection, the patient doesn't care about cost and the payer doesn't care about quality. And that's what's produced this great irony of modern health care, skyrocketing costs and declining satisfaction by patients. And that has to be restored. And the way you restore it is to restore the competitive environment that produces high quality and lower prices. You allow patients, again, to shop across state lines. If you can find a better policy at a lower cost in another state, you ought to be allowed to buy that policy. We've got to stop forcing people to buy health care coverage they don't need. A young couple just starting out doesn't need geriatric care. They shouldn't be forced to pay for it. Same thing with a senior couple. They don't need obstetric care. Why would we be forcing them to pay for it? When individuals had the freedom of choice to shop around among hundreds of competing policies for the one that best meets their own needs, we had very high quality health care at a very affordable price. Most people simply paid for a low cost catastrophic plan to cover them in the case of an illness or an accident that could bankrupt them, and then they paid out of pocket for their daily expenses, and competition kept those costs down.
Congressman, is it just that the insurance lobby is that strong in Washington, or what can average folks do in order to try to get some of these, changes that you're talking about?
Well, that's one of the big problems is these subsidies don't go to patients. They go straight to the insurance companies. As I said, the insurance companies don't care about quality, and if you sever the connection in sending those funds directly to the insurance companies, well, the patients don't have any price signals to know whether they're getting their money's worth. That's what's caused this entire system to break down. It's a fairly simple thing to fix because we know what works. We had a system that worked very well for many, many years until government came in and started screwing up the market.
And now you've got families trying to figure out, do I need to set money aside for insurance? Do I need to set money aside for groceries? Or do I need to set money aside for Christmas this time of the year?
And by the way, one of the proposals on health care reform that I think is very well taken is to stop the subsidies to the insurance companies and provide health security accounts that are funded with pre-tax income, so that patients will have the funds available to purchase a plan that they can then control, that they can fire if it no longer suits their needs, that they can adjust according to their needs. And then we come in and provide a basic subsidy to assure that a basic plan is within the reach of every family. And that goes directly to the family, not to the insurance company.
Something we'll be keeping an eye on. All right. Thank you so much, Congressman Tom McClintock. Thank you for your time this morning. Great day. We'll be right back.